All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ole Miss After Dark. Me and Hitch are back once again to kind of give y'all just a little update on everything that's going on here, not just with Ole Miss, but the sports world. We've got week 0 coming up here to kick off college football finally. It's officially underway starting Saturday at 11 o'clock. We'll get into that later in the show. Ole Miss basketball schedule was released. Figured we touch on that a little bit. But also earlier today on Thursday, J.J. Pegues was named the Chucky Mullins award-winning recipient to wear number 38 this year. That was kind of the big news coming out from an Ole Miss perspective, as far as football goes, at least. But Hitch, how you been doing, bud?
Good, man. You've been doing pretty good. Just I'm assuming you've been doing the same as me, just kind of sitting around enjoying the DNC, and just kind of hanging out.
Yeah. I have enjoyed a little bit of it, maybe for different reasons potentially. It's more of a comical thing for me. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Just poking.
entertainment for sure. Yeah. There is definitely a little bit of entertainment there. But yeah, kind of diving into it here though. JJ Pegues named the Chucky Mullins Award winner. That was kind of expected. I think I can't remember if it was me and you talking privately or if we talked on the show several weeks ago about him kind of feeling like the favorite to win this award. He's been in Oxford a few years now after going to Auburn out of high school. He's an Oxford native. Grew up coming to Ole Miss games, knows all about the Chucky Mullins Award, transfers to Ole Miss, has been a really big part of this defense and this defensive line and the transformation of it more than anything, right? Kind of felt like there for a while when he came over that he needed to be the guy on that defensive line. And while he is incredibly important, his role now seems to be, well, it seems to suit him a little better, right? He doesn't have to be the dominant guy there on the defensive line. Now he's got a lot of help around him with Ivy and Nolan and Princely and those guys, a couple freshmen as well. But I thought it was a really good choice for JJ to be the Chucky Mullins recipient here, being from Oxford and how much he's meant to this program and the resurgence of this or potential resurgence of this defense. I guess we won't know that for sure until the season gets started, but I feel pretty good about this D line overall.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I don't know that we've talked about it. It may have been on another show, but it makes all the sense in the world that he's the recipient. I mean, for all the reasons that you said, the one that jumps out is Oxford native, and when you said we were going to talk about this, it got me thinking about the people that have worn it previously, and as an Ole Miss fan, I will admittedly say that I do not. I know why we give the Chucky. I know about Chucky Mullins and stuff, but I don't quite understand the significance of it. Is it for like the team captain? Is that what it is, or like the most heart, or
Yeah,
what does the award signify for those stupid people out there that don't know? Okay.
Yeah. For the people on the show that are wearing a maroon shirt like Hitch on an Ole Miss show, it's about leadership,
purple.
right? It's about who's going to.
Purple.
It's not purple. It's maroon. No, it's not. Not
All
on this
right.
show. It's not. I don't know what kind of camera you got going on over there. Choose your shirts a little bit
Should.
better, Hitch. But no. Yeah, you absolutely should. No, this is
it's the color of royalty. It's purple.
Every year. No, it's not. Just stop it. You're not making any sense right now. That's maroon. You should have done better. Strikes are really piling up on you. You don't listen to people when they talk during interviews. You ask them questions they've already answered, and now you're on here with a maroon shirt. So, strike 3, right? But
hey,
good news is you got more than 3.
No joke. I don't know what you just said. I stopped listening. That's not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
See, exactly. Strike 4. But yeah, it's a guy that's going to show a bunch of leadership and other things you talk about too. Heart, a guy that's going to show up every single day, do things the right way, and just lead people the way they need to be led. And it's always on the defensive side, obviously, because Chucky was a defensive player. It used to go to defensive backs almost exclusively early on, right? And then, started branching out a little bit, started having some linebackers there in the mid to late 90s. And obviously Patrick Willis being the big one.
Yeah, I would say the most significant.
Yeah, he was actually the first person. I think Stephen Willis said this, if I'm not mistaken. And if I've got it wrong, then I apologize to whoever did bring it up. I think Patrick Willis was the first person to wear the patch instead of the number. It used to always be the jersey. You were going to wear number 38 on the field. And the reasoning behind it was apparently, and I didn't even remember this, and I've been going to games this entire time, but apparently whoever got the Chucky Mullins Award and was wearing that number 38 jersey, there was like a 4-year stretch there to where it was just a rash of injuries to whoever got it. And so he kind of thought it was a little cursed a little bit, right? So he just went with the patch, kept his 49, totally fine with it. I don't care what you do as long as you do honor Chucky. He is a very important part of Ole Miss history. I think it's a great award. It's the single thing I look forward to every offseason is who is going to wear that number 38, whether it be the actual jersey or the patch. And JJ is doing something that, as far as I know, is completely different. I don't know anybody that's ever done this. He's wearing the number 38 at home, but wearing his regular number 89 with the 38 patch on the road. Kind of thought that was pretty neat for him. Kind of, he's giving it his own flavor a little bit doing it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if they just went straight to the patch. I don't. To me, a number is just a number. Like, it doesn't matter. But I know that for a lot of people, a number is very significant. So I could see where someone who has worn the same number year after year after year, which, I mean, when I was in school, I did that. Like, I mean, I wore the same number, but I could see where you would be conflicted, right? I want this award because it means a lot to this team. It would mean a lot to me. But at the same time, Pat P. Willie, right? Number 49, that's been my number forever. That means as much to me as the Chucky Mullins Award means to everybody else, right? And so if you just went with a straight patch, it would allow people to wear their own numbers. But to each their own, right? I could see also where someone has a number their whole life, and then they get to Ole Miss and all they want to do is win the Chucky Mullins Award so they can wear number 38. Like, I get that as well. So it to each their own. I'm glad that the coaches and the administration give the kids the autonomy to make the decision to how they want to honor the number and the award. I think that's great.
Yeah. And if it were just me, which look, I was never going to be a defense, an SEC defensive player to the caliber. First of all, to even make the team, much less win the Chucky Mullins Award. But I would wear the number 38 out for the jersey,
right? So you're saying
no,
that
not a lesser conference either.
Okay. Well, you were very specific about the SEC, and so I just want to make sure.
Well, because that's what we're talking about here, right? No, I mean you can go all the way down to the North Pontotoc level. Wasn't good enough for that one either. So much less SEC or any sort of G5, D3, JUCO, whatever it may be. But if it were me, I would wear the number 38. But I'm like you, to each their own. Whatever you want to do, as long as you're honoring him one way or another, because that's a tradition that needs to go on. Quite frankly, for the rest of time in Oxford, I really look forward to it every year. But super happy for JJ. Glad he was able to get it. He is going to be a great ambassador for this award, and he's going to make Chucky and everybody in that family and people that are really close to Chucky and remember his story. I know JJ is going to make them proud with the way he performs this year, and kind of carrying that torch a little bit.
Is P. Willie your favorite to wear the 38 or to win the Chucky Mullins Award?
I mean, off the top of my head, yeah, that's the one I always go back to, right? But there were so many really good ones, right? Like I'm thinking, and I may be wrong. Surely Ken Lucas wore it back in the late '90s. Surely he was.
No, he didn't. No? One of the names that sticks out to me, and I don't know if this is a name that rings with anybody else, but for whatever reason, in 2004, I loved Eric Oliver. Playing DB. And he wore it in
6 in Gainesville that year.
That may be, I don't know. Like, me in big plays. I'll latch onto him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he won in 04. He was the Chucky Mullins winner in 04. Then you had P. Willie in 06. And I guess maybe after P. Willie, you had DT Shackelford won it twice, and then Mike Hilton, Marquise Haynes. That's one. That's a big one that was very, because you got to think that like just because you are wearing the Chucky Mullins number or won the Chucky Mullins award is like that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be the star on the field, or for the fans that doesn't mean that guy's going to be the star on the field. But there have been some guys like P. Willie and Marquise Haynes that put up really big numbers while wearing the number.
Yeah. You've got other guys. Jamarcus Sanford was another favorite of mine. If I'm not mistaken, do you have the list of Chucky Mullins award winners in front of you? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Nate Wayne win it. I was thinking he was the first linebacker to win it, or the first non-DB. Nate Wayne.
Yeah, 97.
That was a really good one. Yeah, Ronnie Hurd played for the 49ers for a while. I'm pretty sure he won it. God, let me see. I'm trying to think.
Oh, this is fun. How many can you name? This is fun. How many can you name?
Fan favorite here. Okay, one of my favorite Chucky Mullins award winners. This was, probably 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember how long ago since he played. John Youngblood, man. Loved the dude. Absolutely loved him, man. He was all heart, all hustle, giving everything he can. He was a lot of fun to watch. I really loved watching him. Let me see. You said Marquise Haynes already. Mike Hilton, DT. God, didn't DT wear it twice? Did he win it twice?
Yeah.
Lord, he was there like 6 years, right? He
got
it twice.
I was just fixing to say it was his freshman and then his senior year, but then I remembered, he was here like a bunch. It was 2011, 2014, whatever that was for him.
Yeah. He wore it a couple times. Kentrell Lockett, didn't he wear it?
Yep, 2010.
Let me see. There was a defensive end that was in all of the promos that we always cut. Probably early 20. Jason Jones, really loved him. He was a big heart guy too. I mean, just really played his ass off for us. Jamarcus Sanford, I know we talked about him already. There was
CJ Moore,
linebacker. Who?
CJ Moore.
PJ Moore. I don't guess I remember that.
CJ Moore. CJ Moore. The year after Marquise Haynes.
Okay.
Yeah,
CJ Moore. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can buy that one. Jamarcus Sanford. We talked about him already.
When
he won
2008. 2008.
Dude, early 2000 one here. Lanier Goethe, right?
Oh,
the linebacker.
Yeah.
Didn't he wear it? Yeah.
02.
Yeah, that was another good one. That was Eli's junior year, I guess that was. Yeah, he was a senior in 03, so he would have been there for his junior year. That is a good one there. I do remember Lanier.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
I mean, when you look back at it, it feels like, and I guess now it is because we've gotten older, but this was a brand new thing really when we were kids. I mean, the first one was given out in 90. But I guess it seems like such an old award because it's been there like our whole existence for it. Ole Miss football is there's been a Chucky Mullins award our whole life. And so it just feels like it was weird to me to look at it and see the first player named was 1990. I was like, I was thinking this award was like for whatever reason, because I'm stupid probably, but I was like, I thought this was like in the 70s or something.
No, that was
crazy.
That was Chris Mitchell, wasn't it? The first ever award winner.
Yeah, Chris Mitchell in 90.
Yeah, he was a good one. Look, another good one that has since really broadened out and done his own thing since his playing career is done. KD Hill, right? They obviously had that bad car wreck back a few years ago, but a guy that was really an anchor on that defensive line when the offense under Lane Kiffin was really rolling. He was a force to be reckoned with back there, or there up front as well. So that was another good one as well. I think that's a lot of fun. I'm kind of surprised I was able to name that many of them, but it all just kind of came flooding back once you started talking about it.
It does. And I think CJ Johnson, like you said, just kind of bringing it back around to this year's team.
Yeah.
He him winning the award shows that he has the leadership and the team. He is the team captain, for lack of a better term. But also what you said, the numbers that he's going to be able to put up this year is going to be ridiculous. With who did I said the wrong name, didn't I? I said Cedric Johnson.
You said
I'm looking
CJ
at it. Sorry. I'm looking at his name. I just realized it. I meant JJ Pegues. He's going to be able to put up incredible numbers because of the other two guys that are on the either side of him and the guys that are behind him. Like he's gonna
he's gonna have an incredible
I'm excited
year
to see what he's gonna be able to do, right? And you may even see him on the other side of the ball too, right? Like Lane, you don't ever even know what's gonna happen. JJ Pegues, here we go. JJ Pegues, the first Chucky Mullins Award winner to score a touchdown. Has there been one?
Oh, okay.
On the offensive side of the ball, I bet there's been a there or a score. Oh man, that was gonna be fun.
That'd be good. He's like a upgraded version of Jeremy Liggins, right? He's a big guy that can get dirty there on the lines with you, then he can get in the backfield, and he's so athletic. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because Liggins was county. There you go. Nailed it. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, though. JJ has a chance to really improve his draft stock. He's a guy that was going to get drafted regardless, but with all these guys around him, I think he can have an absolutely huge year. Ready to see what he's going to be able to do. Super happy for him, though. And look, we're not very far away. 9 days away from kickoff? So that's the one thing I'm going to be watching for, though, is that that defensive line when things finally get started. So excited for that, ready to get that going. We'll go ahead and move on here, though. The basketball schedule was released, both non-conference and conference. You got everything now. Not a great non-conference slate hitch, at least at home. You do have some games. Colorado State, you're playing in South Haven. Colorado State's a good program, probably the top 25 team going into the year. And then we go to San Diego to play the Rady Children's International Invitational. I mean, not international. It's all in this one nation, so it's just an invitational this time. But that's going to be a good one too, though. You've got Ole Miss along with North Carolina State, Purdue, and BYU are the four teams competing in it. Big opportunities that the Rebels need to take advantage of when they get out west there in San Diego in that tournament, because the rest of this non-conference slate is just a bunch of duds from a net standpoint. You have no room for error there. So you've got to take advantage of the Colorado State game of whoever you play out in San Diego. I don't think it's been released who the first opponent is, and then I think it matches up based on winning and losing after that. But you got BYU, North Carolina State, Purdue, three really good basketball programs there. So that's a big opportunity for Chris Beard and the bunch.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you're going to find out pretty soon here in October, right? There's an exhibition game scheduled with Illinois. It looks like. So, I mean, which I guess doesn't count towards the regular season, but
I mean, it's not going to count for anything, but it does give you a little bit of a gauge, right? If you're out there because Illinois is one of the top teams in the Big Ten, which is a really good basketball conference. Yeah. I mean, that kind of gives you an idea of where you're at right off the bat.
Right, and this is something that Beard did last year too. I don't know that it was promoted, right, as fans can come to this game, but I think behind closed doors, I think he scrimmaged a couple of really good, I called it scrimmage, I mean it was a simulated game, but a couple pretty good programs, and so this may be something that brings to the table as far as his connections, being able to bring in guys in the preseason and really get some good 1v1 ones versus ones.
Yeah, I think last year, if I remember right, and this is going to be the difference of it, last year was more like kind of a joint practice like they do in the NFL during the offseason. This is going to be a charity event, apparently, where all proceeds go to charity. So you're going to be able to go to this game. It's in Oxford, like you said, on October 27th. That's a Sunday. Yeah. So that's going to be a good one. And I think last year, if I'm remembering right, I think it was Houston. Is that right?
Yeah, I was trying to think. Yes, I believe
either Houston or Baylor. That's what I'm
thinking. It was Houston. Yeah, it was Houston because I remember thinking it was a really, really good team. And for whatever reason, my mind kept wanting to think Texas Tech. And I was like, well, I know it wasn't Texas Tech because, I mean, I'm putting them together because, Beard came from there or previously coached there. But, yeah, I mean, Colorado State is going to be if they're anything like they have been in the past few years, they're going to be shooters. I mean, like they're going to fill it up. And the next one, Oral Roberts, they're a pretty good basketball program when it comes to those mid majors. I mean, they make the tournament, and so I think you're going to get, right. I think that they will be a fun game in Oxford, right, on November 21st. Yeah. I think that will be a fun one. But you're right. I mean, after that, you've got Louisville in the SEC ACC Challenge,
Louisville and yeah.
And then it's not much at Memphis. You got Memphis, December 28th. Yeah. Then you get into SEC.
Last non-time game there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to
now, look, this SEC schedule is absolutely brutal, though. Apparently this league's going to be very, very good. I know that shocks everybody listening, but just kind of look at this SEC schedule. You start off at home against Georgia, then you go to Arkansas, LSU, and Oxford, at Alabama, at Mississippi State, Texas A&M at home, at Missouri, Texas at home, Auburn at home, Kentucky at home, in Baton Rouge, at South Carolina, Mississippi State at home, at Vanderbilt, at Auburn, Oklahoma at home, Tennessee at home, and then you end the year in Gainesville against Florida. Just not a whole lot of breaks when it comes to conference play.
No, I mean, you get I guess the one break that I heard was Tennessee at home.
That's not a break. Tennessee?
Yeah, we get Tennessee at home. That's a break, right? We get Tennessee. We don't have to go to Tennessee.
I mean,
yeah, but I'm saying,
it's good. Yeah, it's good that it's in Oxford. But I'm just talking about a break to where you're looking somewhere to where you can pinpoint some for sure wins, right? In Columbia against Missouri, you should go to Missouri and beat them unless they are vastly improved from last year. And the same thing at Vanderbilt too. But the thing there is both of those are on the road. You never know what's going to happen on the road in this league.
Yeah, look, I can find some breaks. Here are some breaks. You only play Arkansas once. You have to let's see, you get Texas at home, you get Kentucky at home, you get Tennessee at home. Those are breaks. I mean, when
Oklahoma,
it comes
to I think Oklahoma at home as well.
Oh yeah, I miss Oklahoma at home. You got to go.
You do play Auburn twice. That sucks.
Yeah, you do play Auburn twice. You got to go to and LSU twice. Now that's not a very good break. But I mean, it could be worse. I guess. I don't know.
I want to say that basketball in the SEC is just like football, just like baseball. When it comes to scheduling, there's just not a lot of breaks in the schedule. You can go through every single SEC team and look at their basketball schedule and say, man, that's going to be an absolutely brutal stretch. And it's going to be the same thing for the Rebels. But look, if you're going to compete, get to the place where you want to be under Chris Beard, where Chris Beard wants to be, quite frankly, you've got to go win some games. You've got to beat Georgia at home. You've got to be able to take those two games against LSU. You've got to defend home court against Mississippi State, against Texas A&M, win those Missouri and Vanderbilt road games. And then, here's a stretch right here. A 3-game stretch with Texas, Auburn, and Kentucky all at home. I mean, those are opportunities, but you've got to win at least one of those. It's brutal. It's going to be incredibly tough, but you've got to take one or two of those games to kind of raise the profile of your program and your net coming off of that non-conference slate.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go further than that and say that, because of those breaks that I was, and I guess I'm using that term very loosely, but like because of those breaks of only having to play Arkansas one time, Texas, Auburn, Kentucky all at home, and then Tennessee all at home. Like just because those are break, like you have to capitalize on those breaks, and you probably have to win half of them. I don't. Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee at home, 4 games. One game isn't going to do it, right? You have to win at least half of those.
Well, no, not one. Yeah.
And then you also have to take care of business on right, going to Missouri, going to Georgia. Probably got to beat LSU once, and take care of business everywhere else. But yeah, you're right. It's just something that we've become accustomed to, and it's something, and I guarantee that we will say it next year about every single sport, because we say it every year about every sport.
Every single year.
That well, the SEC is just the best, or it is brutal. This is the hardest schedule ever. I mean, we say it every year, and so it's just going to be more of the same things. We just have to get used to it.
Yeah, and look, we're conditioned to it. We've seen it every single year across all sports. Basketball is the one where the league has really taken a jump. It feels like, where it's gotten a lot better. But look, we've gotten a lot better too, right? And you're paying Chris Beard $5 million a year now. Those numbers came out. I think it was David Eckert of the Clarion Ledger that wrote an article on that earlier in the week. So that's what his salary is. $5 million puts him in the top half of the league. If you're paying a coach top half of the league money, you need to get top half of the league results. And I think we'll end up getting that out of Chris Beard. He's done a really good job just going into a second year right now. I mean, you can see the difference in talent that he's already brought in, considering what was there when he took the job, though. And look, this is a team that's going to be led by a couple of veterans with Morrell and Brakefield, guys that have been in this program a few years already. Kind of shifting it back to football, you kind of feel the same way with guys like Pegues, Dart, guys that have been here when, trying to help all of these transfers mesh together and be a more a better team overall, kind of instilling that culture a little bit. So excited to get that going too. That's going to be here before you know it.
Well, it's the same thing with basketball too, that we have football that we've been talking about the past couple of weeks, is that it's starting to feel like less and less of a drop off between your A's and your B's, right? Like we've got a bunch of transfers coming in that are highly touted and very good. But also you've got Morrell and Brakefield coming back in. And so now you go from having the little guard too, right? He's coming back. The shooter, Jamal Murray.
Yeah, Gigi.
Yeah, Gigi. I mean, so now instead of 4 guys, right now you've got 6, 7 guys that there's really not a drop off in production. And if Chris Beard continues to do this, we're going to be saying the same thing that we were saying about Lane Kiffin now in a couple of years about him, is he's done such a good job of bringing guys in that when somebody gets in foul trouble, somebody needs a breather, somebody's just not feeling it, somebody gets hurt, right? We got somebody that we can slide right in, and there's no drop in production. And it's such a new feeling for Ole Miss that every time we get it, we're just like, well, give me more,
Yeah. What is this? Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm ready for basketball season to get started as well. But football season is getting started right now. Hitch week 0 is officially here. Games start kicking off on Saturday. There's not a whole lot going on, but there is a really, really good game at 11 o'clock, one I'm really excited about. Before we dive into week 0, though, I wanted to remind y'all about Rhythm. They are the absolute best handicapping app out there. You can download Rhythm, get it free for 7 days. That's RITHMM. You can go on there. You can use Rhythm built factors to build your own model. You can create your own factors using different things to plug into offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency, create your own havoc rating, whatever you want to do. Or have Rhythm just build your models for you, and they will give you predictions on every single game. A really handy app to use if you're a gambler. So y'all go check them out. Again, that's RITHMM on the App Store, Google Play, depending on whatever device you have, though. Start playing around with it. Get it free for 7 days. I actually made my new model for college football just the other day on it, so I'm ready to get this thing started and see what it looks like. But again, 11 o'clock on Saturday from Dublin, Ireland, you get an ACC matchup, Georgia Tech and Florida State. Florida State is favored by 10.5 right now. They got a new quarterback, DJ Ugalele. from Oregon State, previously of Clemson. Georgia Tech returning Haynes King, who was really impressive in Oxford last year, had a really good year, made that Georgia Tech offense look more than competent with him under center. Kind of feels like a real trendy pick right now, though, because I see a lot of people jumping on the Yellow Jackets. It was at 13.5, been bet down to 10.5 already. What are your thoughts on this game, Hitch?
It's so tough early on because you just don't have any data.
You don't know.
You're going on.
And especially in this day and age of college football where players move so much, teams are so much different year to year than they used to be. Because usually you could look back and say, all right, this freshman or this sophomore or this junior played last year and now he's stepping into this role and compared to what he did here compared to there. And now you've got them moving around, getting into a new place. You never know how they're going to adapt to that sort of thing.
Well, and I mean, it's something that I'm sure handicappers have always taken into consideration, but it has to be weighted so much heavier now. And there is an acronym for it. It's like TARP or something like that. It's like the grade of your transfer class out and in, like experience. It's like it considers like their experience and all kinds of stuff. But now, like, you have to weight that so much heavier because the classes are so much bigger and it's happening way more often. But I look at this game and the first thing that jumps out at me is the total, right? I mean, and I'm an over guy. I loved DJ and Oregon State last year. I was on Oregon State almost every week. I think once he got out from under Dabo over in Clemson, man, he really was impressive at Oregon State. And I think if I had to make a pick here, it's Florida State just because of his experience and just the way that Florida State has been trending. And I think that what happened with Florida State last year, they're coming out and wanting to punch somebody in the mouth and prove a point. And I think that they probably will against Georgia Tech. I like Florida State, but if anything, I'm probably would get on this over because also, you said it. Used to, you think of Georgia Tech, you think of the triple option, you think of, if they're going to score a bunch of points, it's still going to eat up a bunch of clock because they're doing all this running. But now they've come in and completely thrown that out, and they've got Hayes King. I mean, who was highly touted with A&M. Is that where he came from? Came from A&M over Georgia Tech, and you get that Georgia Tech offense going and the Florida State offense going, and I mean they could put up 70. Who knows? But for me, I like the over.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you on Florida State too. Mike Norvell has a track record of getting the absolute most out of every quarterback he's ever had, whether it be Memphis, Florida State. I think he's going to get the best out of DJ. I thought DJ was fine last year, kind of like you said. He wasn't talked about a whole lot because they were so balanced over there in Corvallis, right? They did a really good job, and that's what Mike Norvell's going to want to do again. More than anything, give me the team that has more resources, more money, and more athletes, and I will take them with what is probably overall a more talented quarterback, maybe not a better quarterback, but because look, I do like Haynes King. I think he played really well last year, not only against us, but against other teams as well, and they got into ACC play. But I'm with you. Since this number's dropped as much as it has, down to 10.5, I think I like Florida State, but we'll definitely be riding that over, though. That's the one that I really do like.
Yeah, I mean, if Florida State has a good running back, like a solid guy that he can hand it off to, and he doesn't have to make every play, right? You saw it last year with Damian Martinez and Oregon State. Like, I mean, at times they just were unstoppable on offense out there. Like, I know that was a different conference. I get it. But if he has a healthy guy that he can depend on to turn around, hand it off to, and to pick up blitzes, I think he's going to be DJ is going to be very, very good. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Go ahead. Doesn't matter.
All right. Well, maybe the one thing that you take polls at when it comes to betting the over in this game is the fact that both teams are traveling overseas, getting played in Dublin, Ireland. Is there going to be any kind of jet lag or tiredness on their part? I
Well,
don't
to
buy
the
into that for the
defense.
simple fact. Well,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, that's true too. But I don't buy into that for the fact that this is the first game of the year. They're going to have next week off. If I'm not mistaken. If you play week 0, you get the week 1 off automatically there to kind of get yourself reacclimated a little bit, especially going to another country
Yeah.
to play. They're going to get out there early. They're already there, obviously. They've been practicing. They're getting acclimated to the time change and all that. So I don't put any stock into the fact that they're going to be tired, jet lagged, anything like that, traveling that far just to play a football game. So
Yeah.
I'm sure people will bring that up, but I still like the over in spite of it.
Yeah, and two more things on this one, just quickly, is another. It's not. It could be dangerous taking overs right early in the year because it feels like the defense is probably more ready than an offense because it has less to learn and things like in my head. That's how I think about it. And so a lot of times overs aren't very successful in the first week. But just like you were saying, I think that they're going to be pumped up. They're going to be ready to play. Another reason to like Florida State in this game, I think, is that although it is in Dublin, Ireland, they've had to travel, they do have experience playing a big primetime game, first game of the season, or at least the first big game of the season. I know last year, and was it not 2 years in a row, them and LSU, first game of the year? Am I making that up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, they know what it's like to be in this situation, whereas Georgia Tech is like, I don't know that they've experienced anything like all eyes watching them on the very first game of college football, right? And so you may see a few more flubs and mistakes or things like that. So I think it's going to be an interesting game to watch. But for me, especially if it stays 10 or goes under that, I'm Florida State and then the over.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't feel like there's a whole lot more in week 0. You've got at 3:00 Montana State traveling to New Mexico for a game. The only other one that I'm kind of interested in is SMU and Nevada, just because I'm kind of interested in SMU. From everything that I keep hearing, reading, they're really invested into football in particular, obviously, but athletics in general, making the move to the ACC. They're not getting paid in the ACC. They're paying their own way for like 5 years, not taking a cut of any of the ACC money. But apparently their boosters are really ponying up, pun
That should
intended,
be
to get
terrifying.
players there.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
That you just said that they're not being paid by the ACC. They're paid. That is terrifying because, I mean,
Tells you all you need to know.
People our age, probably people a little bit older than us are probably a little bit more familiar with it. But I mean, SMU is the reason that there were rules in the first place, right? Like, I mean, like they got the death penalty because they were playing. There's a 30 for 30 about it. It's great. Go watch it. And if there is still that kind of money, right, in that part of Texas, which there is, I mean, there always has been, then, in 5 years when they stop paying their way into the ACC or whatever, and they can actually start getting some NIL deals for some of these players, I mean, you might see a new dynasty being born here with SMU. And it's good. That's actually fun to watch. But this game, I'm interested in this game too, because just looking at the two teams, to me, it feels like shootout. I don't know. I haven't looked at either one of these teams. I don't know, but I know in the past both these teams like to score, and you see another low total there. I'm not going to say over again because I don't really know much about them. They may have changed since I watched years past, but this game does feel fun because it feels like it's on CBS Network, right? I love those old. Sometimes they get grainy, like maybe it's not the best picture. Yeah, and I love these late games like this because crazy stuff happens. But I think this will be a fun one too.
Kind of gives you that Jefferson Pilot sports vibe a little bit, right?
Yeah,
there's a little bit
100%.
of nostalgia to watching something on CBS Sports Network.
Some of the graphics might give a little shake when they come on the screen.
I
love it.
That's gonna be good. Yeah, I'm interested to see what SMU looks like, though. They had a really good year last year. They're a team that everybody's talking about with their first year in the ACC. I'm with you, though, Hitch. I think they will end up being a problem eventually. There's a ton of money in that part of the country. So I just kind of want to see what that looks like. Rhett Lashley, the coach there, is a hot name. Really interesting to see if he has another big year this year, if he moves on somewhere else, or if he believes in what the boosters and all can do for him there at SMU, because if they can get through this transition period, I know there's more than enough money for them to be competitive at a very, very high level if he rides it out that long. So I just kind of want
And
to
I
see what it
mean,
looks like, and that's why I'll be watching it on Saturday night.
and hell, they may be competitive from the jump. I mean, they had a freshman quarterback last year that was coming back. Preston Stone, right? I mean, they averaged 40 point or 38 points a game. He threw for 3,200 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Right.
Yep. Real good.
And SMU's always had skill players, on the outside. They slot receivers and little backs that can move and stuff. And so, this may be a very interesting ACC.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Ready to get started. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there, though, for this week. And me and Hitch will be back with y'all next time y'all see us. It will officially be game week for the Ole Miss Rebels as they kick off against Furman 2 Saturdays from now. So we plan on bringing y'all plenty of content next week to get y'all all geared up and ready for that. Appreciate y'all joining us here today, though. Again, go check out our friends at Rhythm.
We did confirm that the SEC Unfiltered will not be at the Oxford Vaught Hemingway Stadium for Ole Miss Furman week 1. We confirmed that. So just so we're
twice,
clear.
Actually. Yeah, confirmed that twice. But yeah, y'all go check out our friends at Rhythm, though. Download the app, start making some models, start making a little bit of money this college football season. And then also, when you get a chance, don't forget to go stop by our online store, omafterdark.myshopify.com. Got all kinds of merchandise there, shirts, hats, sweatshirts. I know y'all feel the fall in the air every morning right now in the low 60s. So go ahead and get a jump on that. Get you a sweatshirt. Also, Papa Lynn's hot sauce, a great locally made hot sauce here in Pontotoc, Mississippi. And remember, if you use the promo code SHIP, all capitalized SHIP at checkout, you get free shipping on your entire order. Me and Hitch will personally cover that for y'all. So do that at checkout. Don't pay for any shipping. What you see on the website is going to be what you pay there. So y'all go check that out. And I appreciate everybody listening, supporting our show. And Hitch, we will talk to you again either this weekend or next week, one of the two.
All right, buddy. See you.
All right.